snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hi guys! So I am here today to tell you guys all about my experience with the September Book Buddy Box book, which was The One in a Million Boy by Monica Wood. And as I said, this was the September book for the Book Buddy Box, which I will link down below. If you want, you can go and buy the November box now because that one is on sale, but they are selling out super quick. So if you want one, go and check it out. If you've never heard of what this is, I will tell you all about it now, so listen up. What this is a little company that was started by Eleanor from Eleanor Reads Books, who is one of my friends. I definitely wanted to support her, so I bought the first one myself, which was this one. And what she has done is she basically loves the idea of buddy reading, and so she wanted to translate that idea of buddy reading into a book that someone could just buy and feel as though they were reading with a buddy, even if they didn't necessarily have someone they could read with in real life. So what she has done is she's taken a book and she's added inserts, additional information, additional tidbits, recipes, pictures, post-it notes with notes written on them, all sorts of really, really great ideas that she has added into the book. So not only are you getting the story, but you're also getting a surprise book that you don't know about with a load of additional surprises within it. It's basically like a treasure hunt within the book, and I love that idea. It's a fantastic idea, and it worked so well. You guys know that I predominantly read science fiction, fantasy, non-fiction, stuff like that. I don't often read contemporary. That's not a genre that I go into that often, not because I strongly dislike it, I just find that I love fantasy and science fiction, so that's what I read the most of. Now, this is a book that has a beautiful cover, so I feel like it's one of those books I maybe would have picked up in a shop, but I don't think I would have bought it if I had just seen it on a shelf. However, because it was the surprise book for September, I obviously had to read it and see what it was all about, and Eleanor had said that it was a really good book and one she really enjoyed, so of course I dived into it as soon as I got the box and unwrapped it and was excited to give it a go. And I'm pleasantly happy to say that actually this is a book I definitely liked a lot. I wouldn't have necessarily liked it as much without Eleanor's additional information. There were some phrases in the book where we didn't necessarily, or I didn't necessarily know what the phrase meant, and Eleanor obviously didn't either, so she had actually gone away, done the research, found out what that phrase meant, and then written in on a post-it note or on a bit of paper what that phrase meant. So that was really, really useful and really interesting. Not only that, there are a couple of times where different types of birds are mentioned and we get images of those birds so that we can not only read about this idea, but also envision the bird. And I mean, if you've never heard of what a grackle is, then there's a picture of a grackle in this, so you would know what that was, which is really, really useful. We also have mention of recipes throughout the book. There's a few times where recipes are mentioned, and Eleanor has gone to the trouble of looking up these recipes and actually inserting them. So if you wanted to, you could make tomato soup cake, which is one of the things that is referenced in this book. I've never thought of it, I would never have even gone to look up the recipe, but Eleanor has thought of it and she's put it in, and it's just an additional little surprise. Now, I think my favourite thing about this is probably that it makes you think about things you wouldn't normally have thought about, which is something I always say about buddy reading anyway. But this definitely made me think about things that I would never have thought of, never would have looked into, never would have done more research, so I really, really enjoyed that element. Now, you're probably wondering what on earth this book is all about. It's set in Finland, and it follows a very elderly woman called Ona, and Ona is quite an old woman, so she actually gets help from a young boy who comes in to help her feed her birds and do general tasks around the house. And this young boy is never named throughout the novel, but we do know, unfortunately, that this boy has died at a very young age, right from the very beginning. And it's really upsetting because this is basically a story of a family dealing with the loss of a child. Now, I say it's upsetting, but it's actually a very happy book because not only are they kind of dealing with the grief of losing him, but they're also trying to better themselves and think about what he did and what he inspired whilst he was alive. And whilst he was alive, he was quite an unusual child. He had a particular interest for world records, Guinness World Records. So there are a lot of lists within this book that reference different Guinness World Records. So it's really interesting to see that. I also really like the idea that we have this family and we have this old woman and they kind of are brought together by the death of this child. they probably would never have met before, because the young boy was just going there to help as part of an exercise that he was doing, I think for school or something like that. But actually, when he dies, the father continues to fulfill his obligation to the old woman by going round and helping her on the weekends to do whatever it was the boy would have done. And the boy himself, when he was there and when he was alive and when he would go and see her, he really inspired and motivated her to want to get a Guinness World Record of her own for being the oldest person to do something. They hadn't decided what yet. And the really inspiring and wonderful, lovely thing about this is it's a very quiet, a very peaceful, a very slow read, but actually there's a lot of layers to it, and you can definitely see how the death of this young boy really influenced these people in this novel to think about their lives and reevaluate their lives and really try and live them to the fullest, because you never know what's going to happen. I think that was probably the purest, nicest thing that I took away from this, is that it may not have been a book that I would normally have picked up. It may not have been a book that I would have enjoyed as much without Eleanor's additional bits, but actually the story has some great themes and great messages in it, and I really liked that element. I have already bought my November Book Buddy box because I knew the moment I started reading this that I was going to love it, because I already did when I started finding things, and the mini thrill that you get when you find something really exciting in your book that you just weren't expecting is so awesome. There's also a Goodreads group that Eleanor put together where you can go, if you buy the buddy box, you can go and you can be a secret member of the group. There's only 30 people, and there you can see extra videos that Eleanor has filmed. You can see an exclusive interview with the author of the book, and you can also discuss in the discussion threads with everyone else who is currently reading the book. You can discuss not only the themes of the book, but also the surprises that Eleanor has additionally added, and it's just a really, really fun idea to have this exclusive, really fun, amazing community of people coming together to discuss a book all at once. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I would hugely recommend that you guys check out the Book Buddy box. As I say, I am going to be linking it below, so if you haven't heard of it, you haven't checked it out, you haven't gone to the Etsy shop, definitely do that. I have already got my November one. I have no doubt that if I enjoy that, I will get the next one, which is the January one. I think you should go and check it out. I had a great time reading it, and I would hugely recommend the experience to all of you, especially if you don't have someone in real life to buddy read with, but you always like the idea. This is a fantastic way of doing it, so definitely go and check that out. Thank you, Eleanor, for all of your hard work in this. I really enjoyed it, and I ended up giving the book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I really, really liked the additional bits. I probably would have given it a 3 stars overall without the additional bits by Eleanor, so that was a massive improvement to my rating, and I really, really did have a great time reading it and discovering everything. So, as I say, let me know if you are going to pick up the next one. I would love to know. Definitely go and quickly buy it, because I think they are running out and there is a limited number. I would love to hear from you guys if you enjoyed the experience, if you're really excited about the experience, or what you think of it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.